Walton can tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you got to get a shot here.
Final second.
Look at the time. 9:58 world record. I told you, Tom Hammond.
The ball. Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win.
Yeah! Ladies and gents, you know it's Mr. Cleanup Gang, and I don't miss nothing at all. Now, I had made a video about this earlier, but I had to take it down because I felt like I was depriving you guys of information and great content. Now, as you can see on the screen, it says Tom Brown, the matchmaker of PBC. We offered Canelo $45 million for Charlo, $55 million for Spence at 164, or Benavidez at 168. Now, this article is published by Boxing Scene. If this article is actually true, then that would mean Errol Spence Jr. intentions is not to fight Terrence Bud Crawford right now, right? Because we have not seen any offer on the table for Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford fight. We haven't seen any article covered Errol Spence Jr. offered Terrence Bud Crawford this amount of money. We haven't seen it. So my question is, why? And are you guys gonna hold Errol Spence Jr., mainly Errol Spence Jr. fans, are you gonna hold him accountable for this? Because this means Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. haven't been negotiating. And last time I checked, Errol Spence Jr. was on live TV saying that he wants Terrence Bud Crawford next, but there's an article that contradicts that statement. So I made a video yesterday about Derrick James on how he tried to downplay Terrence Bud Crawford's talent by saying what made Terrence Bud Crawford great was only his athleticism. So all of this means to say that Terrence Bud Crawford got these guys scared. They don't have nothing to talk about. Errol Spence Jr. is willing to move up, right? 3 weight division to risk his career to fight Canelo, which have evil intentions. Errol Spence Jr. style caters to Canelo Alvarez style because Errol Spence Jr. doesn't move like that. And Canelo Alvarez is the bigger man, and I believe he would stop Errol Spence Jr. at any time. Now, I remember when Canelo Alvarez had the opportunity to fight Demetrius Andrade at 160, right? And he said, nah, I don't want to fight Andrade. Something happened. Rumor has it that Oscar De La Hoya did something and he messed up the fight. Like, he didn't want the fight to happen. Something like that. I'm not really sure. But the fight didn't happen and Canelo Alvarez moved up. Now, when Canelo Alvarez moved up, you guys called him a duck. Demetrius Andrade had came out and he said, Canelo Alvarez had the opportunity to fight me for $40 million for undisputed, and he didn't want to fight me, right? He declined that offer, and you guys called Canelo a duck. Mind you, Canelo Alvarez later moved up and became undisputed at 168, right? He became undisputed at 168. And you guys gave him hell for that. And you guys called him a duck. But when Errol Spence Jr. is about to move up for no apparent reason and fight Canelo Alvarez, you guys give him a pass. And your justification for that is that's the biggest fight in boxing. Mind you, Canelo Alvarez and Errol Spence Jr., they don't have an ongoing history. Probably a little bickering from each fan base, but they don't have an ongoing history. They don't have that hate they don't have that hate with between both fan base, because both fan base hate each other, whether we want to deny it or not. They don't have that same anticipation, that same buildup. So that fight will be out of thin air, and it will be as equivalent to Kell Brook moving up to fight Triple G. And if Errol Spence Jr. move up and fight Canelo Alvarez, say if Canelo Alvarez said yeah and accepted it, Errol Spence Jr. wouldn't stand a chance and he would lose. And then he would be forced to come back down to fight Terence Bud Crawford. And if Terence Bud Crawford beat him, then it would be more excuses. So I don't see how this is good news, and I don't see how this is good for the sport of boxing when we all know that the biggest fight to be made in boxing is Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. There is no way in hell, apart from revenue-wise, it could be the biggest fight in boxing, because you know that Canelo Alvarez fans are going to support him no matter what, right? And we know that Errol Spence Jr. fans is going to support him no matter what. But it's not the same feeling. You understand? It's not the same intense. It's not the same buildup. It's just not the same. So when Errol Spence Jr. been saying, I don't want to fight you because you're on this side of the street and you got to get a belt and I'm going to fight Sean Porter first, and you, all this extra stuff is just, it's just showing you it's coming to an end now. Like, you guys are seeing it clear as day that Errol Spence Jr. intentions is not to fight Terence Bud Crawford. It doesn't make no sense why Errol Spence Jr. has not sent us a contract to Terence Crawford. Or he probably did, but we haven't covered it. But it doesn't make sense why this is being covered and that has not been covered if that's the fight to make in boxing right now. The biggest fight to make in boxing, y'all not covering that Errol Spence Jr. sent a contract over to Terence Bud Crawford and Terence Bud Crawford denied that offer. If that happened, y'all would have been all over that. Everybody would have been talking about it. But we all know that Errol Spence Jr. is going to fight somebody next, and it's gonna be, oh, Terence Bud Crawford don't want to take the 70-30. Mind you, they said that money's not gonna be an issue no more. Like, this fight is gonna be a done deal. But Errol Spence Jr., the thought of Errol Spence Jr. fighting somebody else, his fan base, the LDBC, all these guys is gonna try to like twist it and try to spin it back around on Canelo Alvarez instead of holding Errol Spence Jr. accountable when he said on national television that he wants to fight next with Terence Bud Crawford. So this is never going to stop, y'all. Y'all know how it is. Like, Errol Spence Jr., he got like a whole, like the LDBC, he got the PBC, he got people to protect him, so he could do whatever he wants to do. But I don't care about none of that. I just want him to fight Terence Bud Crawford. But this is just another sign that I don't think the fight is going to happen. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all leave a like. Make sure y'all leave a subscription. Leave a comment. Share this video if y'all enjoy this content. And I'm out.